Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdy Girl Crates, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First, before we start, I want to apologize up front for sounding like crap. I am homesick, and I did not want to miss out making another video after last week's break and technical issues. So I thought I'd go ahead, but give you fair warning that I might not sound the best during this, so again, I apologize. It is Wednesday, and I wanted to talk about something that's been kind of on my mind. While I've been at home, I've been catching up on One Piece, both via the manga and also the anime, and I'm about done with the Water 7 arc, which I am loving. I noticed on Twitter a battle that took place over One Piece, and it's something that I see happening a lot, where there's people of certain political affiliations who have decided to take ownership over franchises that they have no control over. And when I say that, I'm talking about franchises that they themselves have not been able to inject their ideals into and remake or reboot with what they see as what's fitting for the franchise. And I find it kind of funny because they're using a technique that's kind of like ownership over the product by trying to claim that the product is in line with their political beliefs. And it's kind of strange because what they're claiming to be their political beliefs is not exactly what are like the standard bullet point agendas of each political party that they stand most for. Like, for example, the stance on abortion or death penalties or taxes. Now, these are they're taking credit for stuff that I feel is more human emotion, if that makes sense. For example, and we're going to use One Piece because that's where this argument came up on. They are claiming that the main protagonist, Luffy, is very liberal and that he fights against the establishment, and they're not completely wrong. And yes, there is some social issues that pop up in the show, which I will give a couple of examples of, but I don't think the fact that the kid himself is trying to fight for any type of political stance. I find Luffy more as somebody who just wants to be free and governed by himself, and he's more about if he sees somebody who's innocent getting bullied, he's going to step up. It doesn't matter if they're a government official, a fellow pirate, even one of his friends. He's not going to stand for it. You know, if he sees people in trouble, he saves them. If he sees people starving, he will feed them. This is to me more of like a human response, kind of like something that you're trained to be a good person. I don't think I don't think at all it aligns directly with one specific political belief. If anything, this is something both sides should be aiming for. And it's just kind of like mind-blowing that it's like, okay, you don't have any way to inject your ideology into this because you have no power over how this is written or created. So we're now going to use the political excuse to try to claim ownership over it. I mean, I can see social issues in there and I can see some historical issues in there. But again, I think it just comes down to like human and history. And what I mean by that, I know I'm probably sounding right now like I'm talking in my butt because I don't feel well, but for example, when I read the Skypiea arc, it was very much homage to the unfortunate past of North America and the indigenous people who lived here originally, and how their land was taken from them, and how they were forcing themselves into a fight against these invaders. And if you haven't read Skypiea, what happens is there's this island in the sky that was originally from land, and it got blown up into this sky kingdom where there's another society that lives. Well, the society that's existed up there sees this new land as like a holy land in a way. And unfortunately, the original residents of this island are kind of like forced out, and for 400 years they're in this battle. The Shandoans, who are the original residents of the island, are very much modeled after Native Americans, right down to their features, the way they dress, how they live. And then you have the Skypias, who are much more like, as you could say, the colonialists. I don't think this was a social issue, because in the end it wasn't about giving the land back to the Shendoans. It was more about learning to live together. The Skypias lose their home world to a bigger villain who's a problem for both of them. And the Shendoans get together with Skypians, and they end up working together to make this island their home for each of us, and putting the past to the past, which is something I don't see a lot of these people who claim these political ownerships do. I mean, they're constantly digging up the past and trying to force issues back in that I'm not saying don't exist, but not to the level they make it out. I mean, there are still problems in the world. There's always going to be problems. But it kind of gets me thinking, like, is it because they can't control it that they have decided they are going to look for something in there and twist it and try to say this belongs to us? Now, it's not just a one-sided thing either. I've seen both sides. And it kind of strikes me as odd when I see both sides trying to claim human behavior as a political trait. And Luffy, like I said, I don't think Luffy would assign himself to any kind of politics. Luffy just wants to go on adventures and have fun with his friends and find the One Piece and become king of the pirates. But I don't even think he's thought out what it's going to happen when he does become king of the pirates. To him, everything's this grand adventure. And along the way, he meets different types of people, and he's very acceptant of different types of people. I mean, he welcomed in a reindeer who's part human thanks to a devil fruit. The kid doesn't really care about people's past. Like, when they were trying to explain to him about Nami's past in the East Blue arc, he didn't want to hear it because he didn't care. Because he already decided and knew who Nami was, and he didn't want to judge her based on that. And I think that's something more we should be striving for, but instead of trying to constantly be like, this is political. Like, everything is political now. Everything. I mean, what I eat is political. What I watch is political. What music I listen to is political, and it's kind of getting ridiculous. I don't think it's necessary like a political statement. I think it's more of just kind of like addressing things that happen through history, and it's something both sides should be concerned with. It's not something, and I'm gonna be redundant here. A human trait is not a political trait. Okay, being a good person shouldn't just be affiliated to a political stance, okay? Being a good person should just be something we strive to be in general. It shouldn't have nothing to do with which party you're assigned to, which religion you practice, which country you live in. It should just be something everybody strives for. And I see these arguments mostly based on Luffy's actions. And it's, again, I know I'm going on right now, and I don't sound the best. And I apologize, but I think we've gotten to a point where we can't differentiate between what's political and what's just standard behavior. It's kind of like one side always sees themselves as the good side, and the other side's always the bad side, and it's like, this is not the rebellion versus the empire. It's not. I know people on both sides. I know good and I know bad, and I think it's like we gotta step away for a while from political beliefs and start looking at things and get back to trying to unify and just find enjoyment in stuff instead of trying to like politicize it. And I think politics has suddenly become like an identity, and it's weird. It's very weird. I mean, people can have different beliefs and still get along, but now we're at a point where it's like everybody has to be completely in line with one side, or they're no longer, allowed to associate with anybody else. Can we just watch an anime and have fun? Can we just go to the movies and escape from what's happening on TV? Can we just talk to people and not have to sit there and wonder what party they align with? I mean, I just want to get back to some type of like normality, like before this whole crazy crap has gone down. I mean, it's like you now have to like decide who your friends are based on like what they watch, what they eat, what political affiliation they're with. Are they vaxxed? Are they not vaxxed? It's crazy, and I'm not going to get into the argument about what's right and wrong with vaccinations and all that crap. That's not what this is about. This is about, like, putting this BS to the side and let's just freaking have a conversation. I mean, nobody has a conversation anymore except, like, to fight. It's more arguments than conversations. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I hate seeing stuff like One Piece, which I've grown to love quickly, and it being used as a tool to try to, like, push something. Get a life. I am so tired of politics. I don't even assign myself to a political party anymore because of it. It's like everything is now got to be associated with politics, and it doesn't matter which side. I'm sorry. Yes, you might argue one side more than the other, but it doesn't matter. It's I don't care anymore. And I know it's important to learn about who's going to be in charge or who's running for office, but do I have to think about that while I'm watching a kid who's dreaming about being king of the pirates? No. Do I have to think about that while I'm watching Jedis fighting the Sith? No. When I'm reading Batman fighting the Joker, I don't want to have to sit here and be told through everything, or people assuming that it's got something to do with politics. Again, I will say there are some social issues, there's historical relevance in One Piece, but I don't think it necessarily means it's aligning itself with a certain party, because this is not from America, first off. This is not an American product. This is a Japanese product. And maybe the author is trying to make a point about things. But can't people just enjoy stuff? And maybe they might actually learn something if you're not constantly screaming, well, this is this side of the political spectrum or this side of the political spectrum. Because that turns people off after a while. You're like, I just want to watch something and have fun. I want to read something and enjoy it. I mean, listen to music without having to be lectured. Does it always have to be political? No. Is it always political? No. I mean, again, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I just saw this fight going on Twitter, and I was just kind of, like, over it. I'm like, nothing can stand on its own. Everything now has to be associated with something regarding politics, and it's kind of like, drop it. Let's just have fun. Live life. I mean, stop judging people on stupid stuff. Stop trying to claim stuff as yours when you had no part in creating it. Nothing at all. So tell me what you think. Do you think that this political thing has gotten out of hand? Do you think that they're doing this to try to claim ownership over stuff they have no control over? Do you see anything political in One Piece? I mean, let's talk about it. I'm not going to disagree. Like I said, I've seen certain things that could be interpreted that way. But go ahead, comment down below. Let's have a conversation, not an argument. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.